sfproducttalks.com and register. I post these events, and also I do a weekly broadcast of Global Product Management Talk on Mondays, and I've been hosting webinars on Fridays. And all of the topics have to do with product management to some degree. So whatever size company you're in, and whatever your title is, your company is doing product management. There's a product management function.
Okay, great. Okay.
You may not have the title, there may not be actual product managers in your company, but there will be if you want to get from a startup to a bigger company. And I am a product management evangelist. So I am, it's a young profession. The body of knowledge is just being built by the AIPMM, who is the Association of International Product Marketers and Product Managers, and they are sponsoring this event. No, that's actually, it's a sign that I, excuse me, I maintain a worldwide map of product management camps. They're called product camps. There's the biggest and the first one is coming up on March 23rd in Silicon Valley. It's also on the meetup. If you haven't registered, it's too late to register. They've shut it down. I think even the wait list is closed. However, you can still volunteer to be a volunteer, and I post